Shalom. Welcome to our Patreon members to our daily class, Erev Sukkot. I wanted to spend some time with our group. We had just given a class on Facebook to the public in general about divine inspiration from the Sukkah. Now we're going to speak about divine speech from the Sukkah. And it's another level than just divine inspiration. Chiefly appears in the mind, in consciousness, as thoughts and ideas. But divine speech is taking something from here, Chokhmah Bina Dat, all the way down to here, Malchut, the mouth. So you're spanning the entire tree of life when you go from your head to your mouth. Now it might seem a short distance, but spiritually it's 500 years every step. As the Zohar says, each Shira covers 500 years. What does that mean? Well, certainly it's not 500 years the way we understand time, but it does explain to us the relative transfer of energy from mind to mouth that has to take place. And anybody who has difficulty speaking will very easily understand how hard it is to get a good thought out into words. We've all experienced that before. And certainly to go to the next level, to say that our words are divine words, is even a more difficult thing to imagine. But listen to what the Rabbi Nachman says. Al yedei shizkei mitzvah sukkah, the meriting to the mitzvah of sukkah, zochin letarat alev, a person merits pure heart. That building a sukkah, sitting in a sukkah, having a Suda in the Sukkah, all the mitzvot that are connected with the Sukkah, create a pure heart. How? Well, we know that doing any activity that is in a mitzvah purifies the heart by focusing the heart on a higher will. That I'm not doing this mitzvah of Sukkah because I have nothing else to do. I'm doing it because the creator of the universe said, today this is what you do. This is what we do for the festival of the ingathering of the crops, the ingathering of the Jews, the gathering of the nation. So it's all happening on every level at once. But the heart has many chambers and areas of feeling and experience. How does the heart become purified by the Sukkah? Well, we know that we learned before that the divine nourishment that comes into the mind to inspire the mind, those makifim that enter the mind, they have to go further. They have to come down the mind through Das into Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, into the powers of the torso. And so when they do that, they come to the heart. And when they come to the heart, they've gone even further than the mouth, obviously. They've gone from the world of Atzilut, the head, to the world of Bria, the heart. And Yetzira, and so on, down the body. Now, why is this important? Because when you receive the divine inspiration of the Sukkah, then you want to translate it into words and action. And when that divine inspiration touches the heart is purified, because suddenly our agenda falls away. All the external things that bother us fall away when you have one drop of divine light enters your heart. One drop. That's all it takes. And all the things that bother me suddenly disappear, like they were never there. It's quite amazing, really. So this is the Torah of the heart that comes through the Sukkah. Is that divine light that comes in through the mitzvah itself, enters the mind, goes down through the whole span of the tree of life of the upper world of Atzilut, down into the world of Bria and Yetzira, and the heart opens with that little drop, and it's purified. So what happens when the heart gets purified? The Rebbe goes on to tell us, Al yedei zeh, this pure heart, a person merits to actually express his heart to God, to say what I need to say, the way I need to say it, the way I want to say it, to speak to the creator of the entire massive 13 billion year old universe, to speak to the creator of everything as if he's really there. As if it's a real relationship. Just as real as the relationship that you have with your spouse or with your children or with your friends. He's there, he hears, and he speaks. We just haven't learned his language too well. We haven't learned to listen close enough. But he's just as alive and more alive than any and all of us. But through having that pure heart, we can actually talk to him. And to speak to him every time with new words. You know, people often complain, well, the words are old. It's the same words over and over. We say the siddur over and over, the same davening over and over, year after year, decade after decade, if we merit to do that. Certainly we felt that on Yom Kippur, where the tefillah is repetitious. But when you talk about your own private conversation with God, you just zocher to new words, new ideas, new comprehensions that you didn't have before, new constructions of ideas, new ways of looking at yourself, new ways of looking at life, new ways of looking at your children, your wife, your husband, new ways of looking at the littlest things that are around you. That comes by having that pure heart, and it comes out in our speech. And look what he tells us, that these diborim hadashim, these new speeches that we make, are an aspect of Ruach HaKodesh also, of divine inspiration. But now it's come all the way to the level of talking, where you can actually say something godly that you didn't even know you were going to say. It was unintended. And this is one of the secrets of Ruach HaKodesh, that you oftentimes will say something that's godly without even knowing it. Is that not important? Because other people can say it to you as well. And so our ears should perk up a little bit. And we should learn to listen a little differently. Because at any time, anyone can be speaking the truth of God. We call that the living Torah. The Torah that's in the book, it's alive too. It's written in the firmaments. It's everywhere. God's speech never stops getting said. It's always being said. Bereshit bara Elokim. Eila adavarim asher diber lifnei Moses, etc. All the different pasukim are being said all the time, but they're not the new verses that are coming out of you. And those new speeches come because of this pattern, this progression of ideas and activity that takes place through the Sukkah. You sit in the Sukkah, you have a holy idea, you have a holy speech, the speech comes out, it now becomes holy. It has impact, it has power. It goes into somebody's heart. It can change them. And you don't even know it. And they might not even know it at first. So when we sit in the Sukkah, we should have these ideas in mind. And when you look at the schach, you are not just looking at palm branches or bamboo or whatever your schach is made out of. You're looking at a physical conduit of power, of an idea that it was sent to us dafka on these days with these parameters and these rules and these constrictions to enable us to receive something that we cannot receive the rest of the year in such a direct and relatively simple way, if you think about it. Excuse me. So when you are talking to God, pay attention to what you're saying. Of course, you want to pay attention. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha. You want to be thinking about those words, what they mean, why are you saying them, and what influence and impact they have. But when I start out with God, good morning, how are you? I miss you, I love you, I want to be with you, I can't believe how great you are. And I just keep talking to Hashem. You might think you're a little crazy. You might feel a little crazy. But it's the only thing that'll keep you sane in this world, from what I see. Because all the talking that's going on around us, if you listen to it closely, it's really in the external vessels. It's speech that's dealing with the external world has been already compartmentalized into vessels that are not so close to home in the center of reality, which is God's speech, the Torah, and of course the mitzvot that we're doing, especially the mitzvah Sukkah. And as I said in the earlier class, take some time alone in the Sukkah. Sit in the Sukkah when nobody's there, when there's nothing happening, when there's no music, there's no voices, nothing but the pure silence. Sit in the Sukkah. It's 2 a.m, 3 a.m, whenever you get that chance. And close your eyes and breathe deep and inhale with kavana, that you are inhaling the divine nourishment that is being channeled to that Sukkah. And do it enough. And don't look for results. This is one of the real rules of divine inspiration. You can't look for the result. You have to receive it as it comes. When I look for results, it's kind of like a kid peeking behind your father's door. Dad says he has a gift for you, and you can't wait to receive it. So you're going to poke your head into the door, and God says, no, don't come in here. I'm going to give you the gift. Don't worry. You'll get exactly what you need. So we don't want to anticipate that. We don't want to anticipate Hashem. We want to make the vessel. And that's just being in the Sukkah with a still mind and a quiet heart, and allow what is already there to appear within. It could appear in your sight, in your inner eye. It could appear in your speech. It could even appear in your breath and in your scent. And you'll have a memory of something that completely changes the way you think about something. Or you'll have a flash of the future, and you'll know it's true without even knowing why. This is how it works, folks. It enters us, and then we, if we're pure, if the heart is pure by this process, then you automatically get the understanding and the perush of the thing without anybody telling you anything. This is why when a prophet would have a prophecy, all the books of prophecy that you read in the Tanakh, those guys were doing the same practices more or less, okay, on a more higher exalted level. But like Rabbi Nachman said, Eliyahu Navi went to his cave over there in Carmel, and he talked to God. And he merited to be Eliyahu Navi, the prophet who keeps on coming back, teaching the sages, and bringing new Kabbalah into the world, and showing up at every bris. And he's the one who got assigned the job of announcing the Messiah. And he's the one that meets Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi in the Shuk and says, Hayom im b'kolo tishma'u, today you will hear the spark of Messiah in your soul if you learn to listen. Im b'kolo tishma'u. But you've got to hear. We've got to learn to listen. And the only way we can really hear is to learn to be quiet. And this is not so simple. Some people are quiet by nature, and some people are very talkative by nature. But that doesn't mean anything when we're talking about inner quiet. The inner quiet is the ability to be at total peace with everything around you, in your life, your hopes, your dreams, your disappointments. All of that is like dust that settles until the air is completely pure and clear. So that's the work of building the Sukkah in order that we can sit in the Sukkah, in order that we can receive these things, these great ideas. And it's only once a year. And halavai, we should merit to feel like we miss the Sukkah when you're not in it. There are times where you can go to the synagogue and miss your Sukkah. And if you go to the store, you miss your Sukkah. And you go to the beach, well, you really miss your Sukkah. It's a whole day to go to the beach. Or you go to a festival, you miss the Sukkah. Now, okay, some Sukkahs are easier to miss than others, I have to say. here in Bat Ayin, we've been blessed with a very nice sukkah. And it's really much more than just a wooden box. Maybe I'll try to take a little video and send it along the wire. But the sukkah should be a place that you feel at home, that I don't want to be inside the house. I want to be in there. Because I know there's something there. There's a connection there. And if we just spend the time and make the effort and give ourselves a little break from everything else that we have to do, we're going to receive that divine inspiration through our thoughts and through our speech, and you will know it when it happens, and you cannot anticipate it, but when it does, you will know. So God should bless us all with that awareness, with that insight, and not be too complicated about it. Try to be simple. Don't be a hocham, as they say, or a hochmalag. You know, people, when they learn Torah, especially Kabbalah, the biggest problem is I start looking around for results. No, it doesn't work that way. You do the work, God pours the wine afterwards. You do the work, God sends the holy breath, the spirit that we're looking for. But we cannot anticipate the Creator. He knows what we need, when and how, and exactly how much and where, and with all the details. And that's all we need. We don't want more than our portion, and we don't want less. But also more than our portion is a very dangerous thing, as we've seen by some of our friends, who've been on this path. So God bless all of us with a holy sukkah, with a sukkah of real speech, of talking to our Creator. Because that's why He created us, to talk to Him. And He wants to talk back. He wants that relationship. He doesn't need us for anything else. But to have that wonderful relationship that, imagine how much pleasure God gets from having a relationship with you. Well, don't you have pleasure with your beloved? Don't you have pleasure from your children, having a relationship with them? So how much more to the one who made you? Hag Sameach, and we should merit to sit in the Sukkah of David HaMelech very soon. All the best. We'll see you during Chol HaMoed. We'll be having some classes, so look for you there. All the best.